Well, hello. Hold on here. Mike is not going to be on for very long. I just want to let everybody know, trying something new. I will be playing old-time radio horror while I play. I will still chat if I am wanted, but for the most part, I will be just playing, and we can listen to these stories together. They are great. I picked a good selection, I think, and yeah, we're going to start with The Man Who Knew Everything from Quiet Please. And yeah, I'm just going to keep playing as I've been. And yeah, we'll have fun. Hope you enjoy the stories. I do. Here we go.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. The American Broadcasting Company presents Quiet, Please, which is written and directed by Willis Cooper, and which features Ernest Chappell. Quiet, Please for today is called The Man Who Knew Everything. How do you do? That's just a matter of speaking, isn't it, when I know perfectly well how you do. I know you're all right, except for the weather and all that. I should have said, how do you... No, I mean, good day. Yeah, that's better. Excuse me just a moment. I know who that is. Hello? Yes? Yes, I know. Why, the name of the mystery tune is Interlude Dramatique by Piero Coppola, who was formerly conductor of the Paris Conservatoire Orchestra. Thank you, I know. A brand new automobile. 2 refrigerators. Yes. 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 Yes, I know. Yes, thank you, but you forgot a dozen pair of chromium-plated stilts. Yes, thank you. No, I'm not very excited, thank you. I knew I was going to win the jackpot. Yes. And send everything to my home. That's always the way it is. They're so surprised when I know the answers. I can't really help it, you see. I know everything. It's a little awkward at times, knowing everything. And sometimes I find it difficult to explain. You see, I never know anything until I think about it. My goodness, some of the things I think about. I'll be sitting here, for instance, just idling away the time, and all of a sudden I'll think, what is the square root of 777? It's 27.6747 plus. Ornamental, but hardly useful. Mr. Willis Cooper's telephone number in Chicago in 1922 was Buckingham 1570. It's interesting. Mrs. Dorothy Neely of Woodland Hills, California, has a dog named Kilty, a Scottish Terrier. Ernest Chappell went to North High School in Syracuse. Joseph Silverman of New York City speaks Chinese. I don't know who that is. Hello. Yes, I know it's the Weather Bureau. Tomorrow will be fair and colder, moderate to fresh northerly winds. You're welcome. You see, I'm continually bothered by people who want to know things. What is a tonka bean? What was President Rutherford B. Hayes' middle name? Where did I lose my diamond bracelet? What does Placebo Bolshoi mean? The answers, respectively, are a South American product used for flavoring cigarette tobacco, birchard, in the laundry hamper in your bathroom under your green unmentionables. And thank you very much in Russian. Quite welcome, I'm sure. I said it's a little awkward at times. I mean by that it's, shall I say, unpleasant. I shall say unpleasant. When I get to thinking about myself, I know all about me. Natch, as Mr. Murray Bolin of Pacific Palisades, California, often says, I am aware that my spleen is 2 centimeters too high, that I have a tendency to hypertension, and that I shall probably perish of an aortal aneurysm. However, don't let those ailments of mine bother you. I shall not tell you about them in any more detail. It was of yourself I wish to speak. And I hope you will bear with me. As a matter of fact, I know you will bear with me. Excuse me, there is a gentleman at the door with a very interesting question. Come in. How do you do, Mr. Perry Bimforth of Puyallup, Washington? You will sit down.
My name is Clovis Feitelbaum.
Your name is Perry Bimforth. You were formerly in the bicycle repair business in Puyallup. You were convicted of battery in 1934, but released on a technicality. In 1947, you broke your right ankle, and last October you went through bankruptcy with liabilities of $83,000 and assets
Never mind. I've heard about you.
Obviously.
But I came here
To secure the combination of the vault at the Cordwainers National Bank on 13th Street.
Exactly.
The combination is... You better write it down. 11 left, right 2, left 16, right 24, left 6, right 5, and open. Have you got it?
Thank you very much.
Are there any other questions, Mr. Bimforth?
How much is there in the vault?
$1,610,000, sir.
1,610,000. Well, thanks very much.
Any other questions?
No, I think not.
Very well. Good day, sir.
Good day.
That chap? Oh, a burglar. They bother me to death. But I was starting to talk about you. May I go on, please? I know a few facts that I think you ought to know, too. Do you know these people by their descriptions? A tall, grossly fat man with a bald head, an absolutely bald head, then an extremely unpleasant, deep voice, just the trace of an accent. Probably 6 feet 6 inches tall, weighed about 300 pounds. And a man and a woman with him, both of them not more than 4 feet tall. The man, very fat too, in a sort of unhealthy way, wearing a little black mustache. The woman, short and dumpy, wears glasses perched on a very sharp nose, has a very red face. Well, they know you. They were talking about you in a certain restaurant Wednesday night. Wednesday night. Does that give you any ideas? Well, think. Please think. Let me describe them a little more. The tall, gross, cruel-looking man wore a tan gabardine suit with a white shirt and a knitted red and black tie. He was eating a breaded veal cutlet, I think. It was rather unpleasant watching him. The smaller man wore a blue serge suit, rather shiny, blue shirt, and a bow tie. He was drinking beer, Pilsner Urquell. Although he mispronounced it, he called it Urquell. The woman has a very red face. It looks as if she'd rouged it all over. Sharp features, kind of modified harlequin glasses, dark gray dress with an ornament that looks like a woman's hand. Rather like the hand of Fatima, but I'm sure it couldn't be that on this woman. A dark blue hat with a capercaillie feather on it. You know her? Well, she knows you. I wish you'd search your memory. That really is quite important. You must excuse me a moment. Miss Trigasanth is coming in with the mail. Come in, Miss Trigasanth.
Good morning, Mr. Afternoon.
Good morning, Miss Trigasanth. The safety pin with which you fastened your girdle when you broke the zipper this morning is open, Miss Trigasanth, and it will presently stick you if you do not fix it.
Thank you, Mr. Afternoon.
That is one of the unfortunate aspects of knowing everything. But Miss Trigasanth is more or less used to my knowing everything. I noticed your start when she addressed me by my name. I am sorry. I should have introduced myself long ago here. We've been sitting and talking all this time, and I'm sorry. My name is Charles W. Afternoon of Woodbury, New Jersey. Our ancestral home on North Drexel Street in Woodbury is one of the sights of the city. Miss Trigasanth has effected the repairs. She is returning. Come on, Miss Tragasanth.
Thank you, Mr. Afternoon.
You're entirely welcome, Miss Tragasanth. I see you have only 2 letters today. Take a letter to Mrs. Grover Cleveland McNulty, the Dells, Oregon. Dear Mrs. McNulty, no. Yours truly. No, Miss Tragasanth, I do not need to see the letters. I know what is in them. The next one. To Mr. Marshall Birddog, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Dear Mr. Birddog. Your great-grandfather's name was 13 Thumbs, period. He was a sachem of the Stone Boiler Indians in Upper Athabasca, then was captured in 1812 and converted to the Shinto faith by a band of wandering Japanese fishermen, period. Paragraph. He escaped 7 years later, emigrated to Doylestown, Pennsylvania, and became the father of a large family, which later removed to Albuquerque, although your great-grandfather deserted the Apaches near Anton Chico, New Mexico, and resumed his former life as a sachem, period. Yours truly.
There was another letter, Mr. Afternoon, but I lost it.
Never mind, Miss Tragasanth. It was from my Uncle Fred asking for money. Send him a check for $60 and give my best regards to him and Aunt Hilda. You have a cold, Miss Tragasanth.
I hope I'll get over it.
You will.
It must be wonderful to know everything, Mr. Afternoon.
People either get over a cold or they eventually die from it. I know that you are not going to die from a cold, ergo you will get over this one and all the others you may have, which, in your case, is 14 more before you die.
What am I going to die of, Mr. Afternoon?
Never mind.
Please, Mr. Afternoon.
I don't know.
Yes, you do, Mr. Afternoon.
No, I don't.
Oh, Mr. Afternoon.
I shan't tell you.
Will I be murdered?
No.
Will it be an accident?
No.
Will I be hanged?
No. Please go away, Miss
Oh,
Tragasanth.
you're a meanie, Mr. Afternoon. Where will I die? Will you tell me that?
Why should I?
Well, then I wouldn't ever go there, see?
Please go away, Miss Tragasanth. There's somebody at the door.
Well, I think you...
A meanie. Answer the door.
I don't hear the doorbell.
It will ring. There.
Oh. Can I go out and get a sandwich then, Mr. Afternoon?
You will, whether I give you permission or not.
Oh.
Miss Tragasanth is going to die of overeating at the age of 81. That man at the door now. That's a policeman. It's Officer Shapiro, an old friend of mine. He's come to tell me that he has arrested the gentleman from Puyallup, Washington, Mr. Bimeforth. You remember? The man who wanted the combination of the bank vault? You thought I was being an accessory to a crime, didn't you? It was quite all right to give him the combination, you see. I knew the police were looking for him. I'd have told him, but he didn't ask me. You see, I do know everything, but generally I don't tell unless I'm asked. But in your case, these people I was telling you about, yes, I know you don't know them, but I do know you've seen them, separately perhaps. A tall, fat man with a cruel mouth and the eyes that always seem to be looking over your shoulder and yet never miss a movement. And the greasy little man with a black mustache and a heavy thing in his left-hand coat pocket. He's left-handed, you know. And the sharp-faced woman with the glasses, with the mercurochrome stains on her right thumb, and a brand-new Corette handbag that has nothing in it but an ice pick. You wouldn't kid me, would you? You can't kid me. What are you fidgeting about? You see? Remember this morning when you felt as if there was someone watching you?
So I crashed.
Did your coffee?
Hopefully I didn't lose very much.
Funny this morning? You see? Maybe you do know them, after all. No, Miss Tragasanth, I don't want you to fetch me a sandwich. She's going out to have a peanut butter and chutney sandwich. She usually has a cream cheese and spam on Russian rye, but she's changed her mind today. By the way, wasn't that door to your bedroom open? You didn't close it. No, I wouldn't go look yet, if I were you. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't like to be you. No, I don't know exactly what is going to happen, but I'll know when it does happen. I find it rather difficult to predict happenings, Except, of course, perfectly obvious things like my secretary dying of overeating at the age of 81, and my own demise of an aortal aneurysm, but I'm not sure when that will occur. And your own case. I know that something rather dreadful will occur to you, and I naturally want to warn you about it so that it won't come as a complete surprise to you. There's nothing I can do about it except warn you. Incidentally, the windows in that room could stand a washing. No, don't look. You might see something you don't want to see. Listen to me. This tall, gross man I told you about, he limps slightly in his left leg. A knife cut. He's unhealthy, too, has ulcers. The way he eats fried food. But he's quite dangerous, not a nice person at all. And those accomplices of his. The woman's name is Mamie. Recognize that? Mamie? I don't need to tell you her last name, do I? Or have you forgotten it? Mamie. And her ice pick? The little man? Oh, he has several names. No, I'm not trying to kid you. I just don't think it's a good idea to tell you right here in front of everybody. Oh, well, lean over here and I'll whisper it to you. One of his names is... You know him now? He didn't have the mustache maybe then, but you'll recognize him by it now. A little mustache, kind of like Hitler's. You wouldn't forget Hitler's mustache, would you? Always carries a book. He had it on the table beside his plate Wednesday night, and the cover got all stained with beer. He's a little sloppy, isn't he? That's Judge Rodney Erickson. He's trying Clapper Claudette. You know, the gangster they're accusing of putting his enemies in the deep freeze up in Connecticut? Hello, Judge Erickson. No, Clapper Claudette is innocent, Judge. It was his lawyer that did it, Ollie Thought. Hang him, Judge. Issue a bench warrant and he'll confess. Clapper Claudette really was in jail in Michigan when it happened. Ollie Thought did it. You're welcome, Judge. Always ready to help out justice. Yes, Miss Tragasant?
There's a man to see you.
I know it.
Oh, darn. Can't I ever tell you anything you don't know?
Of course not.
This is a tall, fat man.
With a heavy face and eyes that don't match, and he's wearing a brown gabardine suit.
And he says he saw you in a restaurant.
Wednesday nights. You will show him in, Miss Tragasant.
Come in, sir.
How do you... I mean, hello, Mr. Ducroft.
I want you to know something, Mr. Afternoon.
I already know it.
My right name is
Your
not...
name is not Amadeus Wolfgang Ducroft, but that is the name you are using at present.
It is so. I have...
A message for me.
I will tell you the message.
Of course.
You are in communication with a certain party.
I am.
I want to warn
Get away
you...
from that keyhole, Miss Tragasant. You want to warn me that I must not communicate further with this certain person.
Party.
I'm sorry.
Then I'm afraid that I shall have to take steps.
You mean kill me?
That is what I mean, Mr. Afternoon.
You will not kill me.
Oh, yes, I will.
Sir, I beg to differ with you. You will attempt to kill me, but your gun, which you are carrying in your hand with your broad-brimmed Texas-style hat, will misfire. And Miss Tragasant will call the police, but you'll escape before they arrive.
You think so?
I know so.
No.
But yes, Mr.
Let's see if the gun will misfire, then.
Now, you see?
Please for coming, Mr. Afternoon. They'll be
You'd
here.
better run, Mr. Ducroft.
Well, for heaven's sake. For a fat man, he certainly can move fast.
Yes, indeed. Too fast, I'm afraid. The police are arriving, Miss Tragasant. Kindly tell them they won't be needed.
Yes, sir.
Did you recognize his voice? When you hear a knock at your door, and you ask who's there, and you hear that voice again, well... By the way, perhaps you'd better double-lock your door. He's quite powerful, and as Miss Tragasant says, he moves fast for a fat man. There's a car driving away quite rapidly down the street. I could see it from the window, but I don't need to. I know who's in it. The woman with the sharp features and the little man with a Hitler mustache. The man who calls himself Ducrot. You don't know where they're going. I do. I know everything. I even know why they're after you. Even if you can't think why. You could think why if you wanted to. There isn't much time left. It's 5:50, Miss Tragasan.
What time is it, Mr. Archie? Oh.
No, there isn't much time left. And it isn't far to your place. Besides, they've been there before, you know, and they know all the shortcuts. I think if I were you, I'd put something against the door. If you only knew what I overheard in the restaurant Wednesday night while a tall, fat man talked. A tall, fat man with a cold, killer's eyes and a gun that won't miss fire the next time. And he's taking care of that. And I would have frightened you a great deal more if you'd heard what he said to the woman he calls Mamie. A woman with a brand new Corette purse and nothing in it. With an ice pick. And what the little greasy man said to him, the man in the blue serge suit, was something heavy in the left-hand coat pocket. It frightens me, and I'm not easily frightened. And then a tall, fat man coming to see me. I didn't expect that. Even if I did know who he was when he came to the front door. I know what he's got in his pocket. What the fat man's carrying. A coil of piano wire. And I know what they're talking about. Right now. As they drive along on the way to your house. Don't you know? Can't you figure it out? Don't you know what they want? I do. Think, won't you? No, I don't want to tell you. Don't be obstinate. You do know who they are, all three of them. Don't answer the telephone if it rings. That wasn't your phone. It was mine. It's the police. Just wait a second. Yes, Officer Drucker?
Listen, Mr. Afternoon, I hear a fella got away from the boys at your place a little while ago. Tall fella, fat, with big sticks in the hat. You called the police, didn't you?
That is quite true, Officer Drucker. He tried to shoot me, but he escaped. He was in a car with two other persons, a man and a woman.
How'd you know?
And he ran down an old man and a corporal in the Air Force at a street intersection.
The old man's dead.
And the corporal has internal injuries. He will survive.
It was a hit-and-run thing.
Yes, I know.
I was wondering if you had any idea where they're going so we could head them off.
Why, no, Officer Drucker. I haven't the faintest idea.
Well, I was just hoping.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I had to do that. Well, you don't want the police in on this, do you? No, of course you don't. Listen, is that someone at your door? No, it's the people next door. They're listening, too. I think they're getting ready to go out. They don't want to get involved in this. I'm sure I don't blame them, not after what I heard Wednesday night. No, it's too late for you to go out. You wouldn't have a chance, you know that. The time's getting short. If I were there with you, I might be able to help. Why do I say that? I know I could help you. But I'm not there, unfortunately. And please don't call the police. Stay away from the telephone. You feel sick, don't you? I told you about the coffee. Are you sure there hasn't been somebody in your house? I know you don't think it's possible, but don't be too sure. Wasn't there a drawer open when you came home yesterday? A drawer you thought you'd closed. Remember when you woke up in the middle of the night, Friday night, and wondered what it was that woke you up? Sure. Are you frightened? I'd be, I know. Because you don't know what's going to happen. That's why you're not so scared. But I know what's going to happen, and it scares me. It scares me to know everything. You have no idea of all the things I know. Frightening things, funny things, strange things. What dogs talk about and how to make a Pisco punch. What's hidden in that cave under Radio City in New York. The beach where Captain Kidd buried his treasure, and how much it cost to put an ad in the London Daily Mail, the size hat that Stalin wears. And what Miss Tragasant wants for Christmas next year, how I'm going to die sometime of an aortal aneurysm, the name of the mayor of Peoria, Illinois, and what's going to happen to you. A tall, fat man. A little sharp-featured woman with glasses. And a little man with a Hitler mustache. And the presents they're bringing you. You do know them, don't you? Come in, Miss Dragasad. You brought the letters for me to sign.
Yes, Mr. Atkinson.
Thank you. That'll be all for today, Miss Dragasad.
Why, what's the matter, Mr. Atkinson?
I don't feel good.
You're getting a cold.
No. Thank you, Miss Dragasad. You can go now. I'm busy.
Yes.
I had to get rid of her in a hurry. I've got something more to tell you. You've only got a few more minutes to wait. I hope you're ready. Listen. There's somebody outside your door now. Listen closely. Listen. Ouch. Look, I'll tell you what to do. There's only one thing that... Oh, I feel dizzy. Only one thing you can do. They're at your door now. Did you put something against it? Wait a second, I'm out of breath. I'll tell you what to do. Just take... Oh. Just take... Oh. I'll have to hurry. I told you about that. The aorta aneurysm, I'm afraid. Oh. All you have to do... They're at the door. All you have to do is... Oh. My chest. You just take... Just take... It's come. It's come. Help. Miss Tragasant, help.
Oh, I was just going home, Mr. Atkinson.
I'm trying to tell... Oh.
What can I do? What should I...
Too late.
Can I get some water?
No. All you have to do... They're at the door. They're coming in. Just take it.
Oh.
I'm sorry. We gotta take...
Oh.
Too late. The door...
Dead.
The title of today's Quiet Please story is The Man Who Knew Everything. It was written and directed by Willis Cooper. And the man who spoke to you was Ernest Chappell.
And others in the cast were James Goss, Arthur Cole, and Gene McBride. Music for Quiet Please is by Albert Berman. Now, for a word about next week, here's our writer-director, Willis Cooper.
Thank you for listening to Quiet Please. Next week, for all my Irish friends, I have a story called Dark Rosalie.
And so, until next week at the same time, I'm quietly yours, Ernest Chappell.
And now, a listening reminder. In just a little while, you'll want to hear the predictions of things to come that will come your way from Drew Pearson. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
The Shadow, mysterious character who aids the forces of law and order, is in reality Lamont Cranston, wealthy young man about town. As the Shadow, Cranston is gifted with hypnotic power to cloud men's minds so that they cannot see him. Cranston's friend and companion, the lovely Margot Lane, is the only person who knows to whom the voice of the invisible shadow belongs. Today's story, The Isle of the Living Dead. Margot, Lamont, and Margot's aunt are on a cruise of the West Indies. It is early evening as their ship sails into the harbor of the little island of St. Jude. In spite of the thunderstorm that is in progress, Margot insists that they go ashore. Her aunt refuses. So only Lamont accompanies her as they walk down the ship's gangplank to a waiting loft.
But Lamont, you told me yourself that these tropical storms never last long.
But this is the rainy season, Margot.
Oh.
Look out. One more slip and you'll swim to St. Jude.
Well, I don't see why they don't put escalators on these gangplanks. After all, they have them at the best department stores.
But the best department stores don't float. No? Yeah. Let me help you into the launch. There we are. All right, pilot.
Yes, sir. Cast off your line.
Well, let's go into the pilot's cabin. Get out of the train.
All right.
Go ahead, Margot.
Thanks.
That's it. Good evening. Kind of a rough night for you, isn't it, pilot?
Maybe.
Well, we'll get to shore all right, won't we?
Maybe.
Jolly fellow.
Are you a native of St. Jude?
Yes.
Well, it certainly looks like a beautiful place.
You think so?
Well, yes. Hmm?
You have been here before?
No, we haven't.
Then wait and see before you talk.
You must be a big help to the Chamber of Commerce.
What's wrong with the island, pilot?
One half of island good. Other half belong to devil.
What do you mean?
Look through window. You see big hill over there?
Oh, yes. I can just barely make it out.
That plantation belonged to devil lady, Mrs. Nesbit.
Devil lady?
Yes. No one go near her place.
Why not?
You ever hear of zombie?
Zombies?
Zombies, Margot, are supposed to be dead men here in the tropics who walk about with no mind or soul. Native superstition. What about these zombies, pilot? Are there supposed to be zombies on the plantation? Well, answer me.
Now talk to pilot when he steer boat.
You must have read that on a streetcar someplace. Come on, Lamont, let's go out on deck.
Yes. Yes, all right.
What do you suppose he meant, Lamont?
About the island? I don't know. Say, isn't that the young girl that played bridge with us on the boat?
Where?
That's sitting back there in the stern.
Yes, of course. Betty Fulton. Lamont, she's crying. I wonder what the trouble is.
Well, let's find out.
Hello there.
Oh, hello, Margot. Lamont.
Oh, anything wrong, Betty?
No. No, that is... I'm leaving the ship.
Why, Betty?
I'm going to the island to look for my fiancé, David Belmont.
Well, that shouldn't be an occasion for sadness.
I'm afraid that something's happened to him. That's why I'm here. That's why I've come to this sinister, terrifying island.
Now, Betty. How do you know that something's happened to him?
Well, 6 months ago, he went to New York to find work. I heard from him regularly. And then one day I received a letter telling me that he secured a job on the island of St. Jude.
And what kind of a job?
Something to do with a sugar plantation.
Sugar plantation. Lamont, isn't that the place the pilot...
Well, there must be more than one sugar plantation, Margot. What happened next, Betty?
I never heard from him again. I wrote to the steamship company and learned that he had definitely come to St. Jude, so I came to New York and booked passage on the first ship.
But, Betty, there might have been a mix-up in the mails or any number.
No. I've heard too many strange things about the island of St. Jude. Now that I'm here and I feel the mystery of this tropical night, I'm sure something has happened to David.
Lamont, listen. What is it?
It's probably a native celebration. Why, of course. Look up down the hill. See that faint line of lights bobbing along?
Lamont, that's on the plantations the pilot told us about.
Come on, Margot. We'll ask the pilot what all this means.
Oh, Lamont, do you suppose it can be zombies?
I don't suppose anything, yes. Pilot? Pilot, those lights moving along that hillside, what are they?
Lights?
Yes. And what are those drums we're hearing?
I hear no drum.
No drums, but...
I see no light.
Now, wait a minute. Are those zombies? Are they?
Ask John D. He know. John D. know everything. He say drum means death.
John D. Well, who is John D?
Well, we'll never learn from this fellow.
Lamont, Margot, did you find out what those lights are?
No, Betty.
Oh. Now you know what I mean about the island. It's taken days from me.
Betty, Margot and I have a day and a half to spend on this island. If it leaves your mind, we'll help you look for David. And believe me, we won't give up until he's found.
Lamont, perhaps we should have gotten one of the natives to guard us to the Nesbitt plantation.
I couldn't find anyone who'd take the job. All full of superstitious fear. Won't go near the Nesbitt place. I even had trouble hiring these saddle horses to make this trip tonight.
Has Mrs. Nesbitt the only plantation on the island?
No, Betty. There's one other. If we don't find David tonight, we'll visit there in the morning. Well, look. Look ahead there. Isn't that someone standing in the road?
Yes. Perhaps he can tell us the way.
Get up. Get up there. Come on, we'll talk to him.
This little speed job I'm riding certainly must miss the old milk wagon.
I say there. I wonder if you can help us. We're looking for the Nesbitt plantation.
Nesbitt?
Yes.
Nesbitt plantation?
Yes.
Slip away!
Hey, come back here. Come back.
He ran into the underbrush. Did you see his face, Lamont? That weird half-dog face.
Yes.
Do you suppose he was a zombie?
No, please, both of you. Let's not have any more talk about zombies. It's... The drum. The same drum.
Oh, David.
Look, over there through the trees. There's a light.
And there's the plantation.
I hope so. Come on. Get up, boy. Come on.
Lamont,
Yes, Margot.
while you were hiring the horses, I asked one of the natives about the zombies and the drums.
Yes?
And he told me that when the tom-toms played, that meant that another body has risen from its grave to wander about the Nesbitt plantation.
Of course, that's a native superstition.
Yeah, I wonder.
Look, there's a house right there.
Oh, boy. Oh, yes. Oh, we better leave the horses here. There.
Will we find David? Will he be here?
Now, Betty, David's all right. We'll find him.
A grim-looking place, isn't it? Okay, we'll tie the horses to this tree. There we are.
It looks like the front door right over there, Lamont.
Good. Well, let's see what happens.
Lamont, I don't like any part of this business. Quiet here. It's almost like
a graveyard. Isn't that what you meant to say?
Well, no, it is.
It is like a graveyard. Maybe David's graveyard.
I better knock again.
Only they just don't
Quiet,
want...
Martha. Oh, good evening. We'd like to see Mrs. Nesbitt, please.
Yes?
Are you Mrs. Nesbitt?
Yes, I am. Won't you come in?
Well, thank you. This is Miss Lane, Miss Fulton, and I'm Lamont Clancy.
How do you do? Well, I'm happy to meet all of you. Won't you come in the study?
Well, thank you very much.
Lamont, she isn't at all like
Oh, no.
I'm not at all as the natives told you I'd be. Wasn't that what you were going to say, Miss Lane? Yes, well, the islanders love to talk about anything or anyone. And as I'm a white woman living alone, well, I suppose I'm a good target, that's all.
Mistress, ma'am.
Well?
You need me more?
No, Mondo, you may go.
It's bad night tonight. I keep watch.
Go, Mondo.
I go.
The natives are always uneasy in this rainy season.
Yes. Mrs. Nesbitt, I'd like to explain the reason for our late visit tonight.
Yes?
We called on you to learn if you had ever heard of a young man here on the island named David Belmont.
David Belmont? No, I'm afraid I don't know.
Oh, I hope
Well, there's another plantation on the island. Have you looked for him there?
No, we came to you first.
Well, I wish I could help you, but I'm afraid I can't.
I see. Well, it looks like...
What was that?
It sounds as if it were in this house.
No, couldn't be.
Hey, listen. That seems to come from under this room.
Now, don't be alarmed. I'll find out what the disturbance is. Mondo? Mondo?
Look! Over there at the window. Someone's looking in. Let's face it, it's the Omen.
Quiet, you little fool. There's no one at the window. Beg your pardon. But look, all of you. Do you see anyone there?
No, I don't.
I know. I saw someone. I know I did.
Now, Betty, don't, please.
You call mistress, ma'am?
What was that noise, Mondo?
I find John D. outside. I chased him away.
But what was the noise beneath the house?
Noise? Beneath house?
Yes, those moans.
That was horses. Rain make them restless tonight.
Oh, of course. I'd forgotten. In the rainy season, we put the horses in the cellar under this room.
Mistress, ma'am, that attend to horses?
Yes. I'm afraid you must excuse me.
Well, of course, we were leaving anyway.
Sorry to disturb you, Mrs. Nesbitt. Quite all right.
Mistress, ma'am, that attend to horses?
Yes, Mondo. Good night, Miss Lane, Miss Fulton, Miss Hanson.
Good night, and thank you anyway for...
Well, that's where I come from. That's known as the Bum's Rush.
You almost pushed us out that door.
Lamont, did you hear that servant speak of John D?
Yes?
And the pilot on the boat spoke of John D, too.
Yes, that's right. He said, ask John D. John D knows everything.
Why do you think Mrs. Nesbitt was so upset about the horses?
Because they're most unusual animals, Betty.
What do you mean, Lamont?
Well, do you remember those moans we heard in the house?
I don't see how I could forget them. Why do you ask?
That was the first time, Margot, I'd ever heard a horse moan with the vocal cords of a human being. I believe there's an inn just down the street. We can rest there before we go to the other plantation in the morning.
Well, it's almost morning now, isn't it, Lamont?
No, it's only 2 o'clock, Margot.
I suppose it would be too much for us to go to that other plantation tonight.
Well, it'd be quite a journey on a night like this.
But I've got to know something about David soon.
If David isn't at the other plantation, I'd like to pay another visit to our friend Mrs. Nesbitt.
Why, Lamont?
Oh, boy. Whoa. And we'll leave the horses here. Well, someone's awake at the local inn.
Lamont, why do you want to go back to the Nesbitt place?
Well, for one thing, I'd like to learn more about those moans that came from her cellar.
But they did sound human.
They were human, Margot.
What about this man, John? The one who knows everything.
I'd very much enjoy meeting him, Margot. Well, shall we go in? Coming, Betty?
Yes.
Well, nightlife on St. Jude.
It seems to consist of one large bar and piano, 2 small tables, and some local barflies.
At least we're out of the rain. I don't know whether I want coffee or a clothes wringer.
Margot, I don't know how to thank you both for practically risking pneumonia just for my sake.
Oh, that's all right, Betty. But here, let's not stand here and drip all over the floor. If we must make puddles, let's do it at the table. What's going on over there?
I don't know. There seems to be a crowd gathered around someone at the end of the bar.
Watch him do this one.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Come on, Betty.
Look, Lamont. Center of attraction seems to be one of the natives.
Yes.
So what's he up to?
Eyes closed, swaying back and forth in rhythm.
And a stupid grin on his face.
He's saying something, isn't he?
I can't, old boy. I really can't. Don't you know?
Why, he talks like a cultured Englishman.
So sorry and all that.
Go on, give us some more. That's not enough.
Look, he's holding out his hat and they're putting money.
Money? More money? Right, man?
That's odd. Now he's talking in a native voice.
And just a moment ago, he spoke like an Englishman.
Let's find out about this.
I beg your pardon, sir. Yes? Who is this man? Oh, just one of the natives. Yes, but his speech. First he spoke perfect English, and then he reverted to a guttural native voice. That's why we're throwing money in his hat. Now, this man is sort of half-witted drunkard. He's a character around these parts because he's been gifted with a remarkable talent for imitating any sound he hears. No, I see. I've been told of such cases. It's rather uncanny when you first hear it.
Yes, I should say it is.
Look, he's working up in another imitation. You see, he sings.
Hey, I just stuck in here for a quick pick-me-up. Now, don't, for heaven's sake, tell my wife.
He just impersonated Clancy, the storekeeper. It was perfect, too.
Isn't he amazing, Lamont?
Money for Jandy?
Give him some money, Lamont. Let's see what happens.
All right. Johnny, here's some money for you. Johnny, listen to me. Can you talk like Mrs. Nesbitt, the plantation owner?
Mrs. Nesbitt? Mrs. Nesbitt?
Come on, Johnny.
Lamont, he's closing his eyes. Swaying back and forth.
I think he's going to talk.
Listen closely to me, do you hear?
It's Mrs. Nesbitt's voice. Exactly.
From this night on, you're my slave. You must obey me. You have your orders. Now do as I command. Lamont, who do you suppose she was talking to?
Quiet, Margot. He hasn't finished.
Yes, mistress. Yes, mistress, I do as you command.
Oh, no! Lamont!
Betty. Betty, what's the trouble, Betty?
Young lady, there.
Where is he? Where is he? Who, Betty? That man, Sunday.
Why, where did he go? He just ran out.
No, no, find him.
Well, what is it, Betty? Why do you want John Day?
Because that voice that answered Mrs. Nesbitt was my fiancé, Jason.
Mondo?
Yes, mistress, ma'am.
What's that lantern you're carrying? Keep it dry?
Yes, mistress, ma'am.
Rain or no rain, they're going out into the fields and work. Crop will be ruined if they don't. Swine, eating my food, carrying for them. Mondo, what's that lantern?
Yes, mistress, ma'am.
All their false arrange have come, and they'll suffer for it. They'll be punished. We must hurry, Mondo. Drug will wear off. I don't give each another injection.
No. Mondo, no like to be around when you stick needles in men's arms.
Mondo, open that cellar door.
No, make me go in with them.
I said open that cellar door.
No, mistress, ma'am. No, nothing with ma'am. I hope.
Close it quickly. Quiet, you fools. Now listen to me, all of you. I don't expect you to know what I'm saying, but listen anyway. You understand that you're no longer men, you're swine in chains, bound together. Filthy cattle who labor in the cane fields under my command. For 2 days now it's rained. Because of that rain, you haven't worked. You've eaten my food, you've gotten my care, while my crop's rotting in the fields.
Please, I can leave here. Mistress, ma'am.
Quiet, Mondo. I only keep all of you alive because I save money using you to labor for me instead of native help. Fortunately, the silly superstition of zombies has kept all people away. And now you've dropped this rain, so I'm going to punish you for it. Before you go to the field, you're going to feel the lash of a whip across your back. You'll see how the sunlight...
No, we can.
Something
bad may happen.
You idiots, come here.
They do not obey.
They must obey. Come here to me, I command you. What was that?
That voice. They no longer obey your commands, Mrs. Nesbitt.
Who speaks? Who talks to me? Has one of you broken the spell?
I spoke, Mrs. Nesbitt, but I'm not one of your slaves.
Who are you?
Men call me the Shadow. I see no one. He speaks. I see no one. I'm standing right beside you, Mondo. No one beside me. My hypnotic powers make me invisible to your eyes.
What do you want? Why are you here?
I've come to free these men from the evil spell that you've cast upon them.
No, you have no business here. Get out!
My power frightens you, Mrs. Nesbit. Frightens you because it's far greater than yours.
No one has greater power than I. Mondo, choose this man. Listen for the location of his voice and seize him.
Yes, Mondo, come on, seize me. If you dare.
No, Mondo no like voice. Mondo no want to be near voice. Mondo, run away from voice.
Mondo, come back here.
Your faithful Mondo has deserted you, Mrs. Nesbit. He's not only deserted you, but he's also locked you in the cellar with the slaves you've so cruelly treated.
Oh, no.
And they're becoming restless, Mrs. Nesbit. Perhaps they feel that the power you hold over them is not as strong as you've led them to believe.
No, let me out of here. Mondo, open that door.
That door will remain locked until you tell me the secret you've used to turn these poor creatures into living dead men. Slaves who move and act like animals.